You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Hour, the show that brings you unfiltered stories and insight from the Twin Cities real estate world with your hosts, Chris Rooney, broker at RE/MAX Preferred, and Andy Presky, leader of the Preferred Home Team at RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
Boy, GI.
Whoa.
Morning all. Are you getting any
What's
rain?
up with you and what's up with you?
Getting any rain, Andy?
Right at the moment?
Yeah.
No, it's always sunny and 78 degrees in Champlin, Chris.
We got some sprinkles here south of the river.
They buried, the cool thing was, I think they buried some nuclear things in our area years ago, and it radiates up, and the wind comes in and goes right around it. So it's nice. I think it had something to do with the aliens that they found. How many times have I told you guys that?
Disclosure is happening. What do you guys think about that? Are you afraid? Are you worried? Or
I still want the sanity checked of the guy that's talking.
Of the one who saw it, you mean?
No, the guy that's talking to Congress about the findings that they've had, and what they're finding is yes, we found UFOs. Yes, we have found life forms that are driving these devices. They're biologically not humans. They won't say what they are. So they say. And remember this when we were talking about being president? Remember we were saying, I don't care who you are. You become president the first day and they start telling you stuff like, yeah, we're actually in a nuclear war with a different, planet. There's actually aliens buried out in the middle of the desert. All this weird stuff that you never thought, and then you watch their hair immediately turn gray.
Yeah. That would be interesting. That initial, like, what the hell is going on? When I sign up for it.
At your job, you're walking, hi, nice to meet you. Mr. President.
All right. Shall we talk some real estate? What are you finding with the market right now, Andy? I think it's quite interesting myself. I think we're still getting action. People are still doing things, but I think they're lacking decision-making skills right now.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, all of them or just some of them, or what are you thinking there?
Just some of them. The ones I'm dealing with, I think are lacking decision-making on like listings. I just see that we're still getting showings and all that stuff's happening. Everything seems to be fine, but it's just a lack of just pulling the trigger. It's almost like that summer, kind of midsummer, gosh, some more stuff is going to come on. Should I wait for it or not? I mean, I've got one listing that, I've had at least 5 people say they're going to write. And it's like, well, we're still going to, we're just waiting. And now we're just waiting. I mean, it's crazy. And I mean, it's kind of silly because we're dealing with things in 3 to 5 days on the market. And so it's not like, these things have been sitting 7 years and you're waiting for someone to finally write. So if it doesn't happen within a week, you're like, what the heck's going on?
Well, I think Chris, it's kind of the whole economy. There's such contrasting news and such contrasting opinions as to what's really happening out there. And it just puts pause into most people's decision-making process. Hence the look at any dealership right now. Look at auto dealerships, look at the side-by-side sport utilities, look at the boat dealerships, look at the RVs. There's miles of inventory out there right now. And they produced this over the last, 6 months. Weird. The economy looks like it's booming because they kept the factories cranking. Even though they didn't have the orders, the consumer wasn't buying. They just kept cranking the inventory to get those dealerships full of inventory. Dealerships have made so much money over the last couple of years that they've got the cash to order that inventory in. Now it's sitting there. And now you're starting to finally see, I laughed the other day, Chris. So I looked up a truck, okay? A truck that, I'll be honest with you, I paid $68,000 for a truck 2 years ago. And now that same truck is $94,000. But Chris, wait, hold on. It's 0.9% financing for 60 months or $2,500 off in a rebate for a repeat customer. I'm like, how about drop it 30 grand? And I think my sentiment is the exact same sentiment that's happening in the marketplace. People think the market's dropping or it's going to drop, and they're just sitting there like vultures waiting until they can't wait anymore. And they finally say, oh, fine, I'll just buy it. And they buy it. And then they submit to the current interest rates. They submit to the current pricing, but they don't want to, but they have to, right? So
yeah. That's a good point. This might be a good way of putting it. And I think as we get closer into August towards September, it always starts heating up again. I think sometimes too, this whole summer thing, people actually want to try to enjoy some of it as well. So
right, that we when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, I think for sure, with the interest rates not being a value anymore, or the urgency's kind of out of it unless you have family needs. And so we're going back to a very normal market. It's based on need, not based on opportunity. So the new current market is like, hey, all right, we had our 5th kid. We got a 2-bedroom house. We have to move. The bunk beds aren't working anymore. We got to get at least another bedroom in. And so those folks or the downsizers, I just can't take care of it anymore. And I get it that the money's a hard sell, but let's switch them and go to the smaller downsize and pay the same amount of money for a small house that we just sold our big house for. But hey, at least stuff's moving. I mean, my biggest fear is the sailboat sitting in the middle of the lake with no wind, right? And when it's going one way or the other, up or down, at least things are moving for people. And there's that people don't feel trapped. And so that I tell you, Chris, you and I went through that before. Some of the worst markets we were in, where people just were equity trapped, or jobs, or interest rates, or whatever, they were trapped. And having options, or equity equals options usually. So that's kind of a nice, I don't know, way to look at it, maybe. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think there's reason to panic whatsoever, but there is a time to have some patience. And so I think people have to look at this and just say, you know what? Hey, it's just slowing a little. It's not much, but you just got to be kind of a little more patient. I think people start like, well, what's wrong? What's going on? And how are we not sold and closed in 3 days? I had a situation that it's a total off-market deal, and the seller's looking to close, wants it done and closed in 3 days. And it's not possible. I mean, talk to 3 other agents, and they're all trying to, make this thing happen for the person. Right. And it's like, it's not going to happen. And so you got to logically talk through it and go through it. I mean,
but think about this too. I mean, beyond logic, there's builders that have overhead, right? They're like the big factory, right? And they have those lots clicking every month, paying interest checks every month. So not only do they have to cover that, but they have to try to make a profit in a competitive market. So these builders are starting to go to the point of where, like I've got one listed right now where this is an actual situation where people come in, they love it, and then they go down to the builder's model, and the builder's model is $15,000 less, plus they're buying down their interest rate. So all I'm doing by advertising at a higher price is I'm helping them sell more houses. And that is just, it hurts us, but what are you going to do? If you have to sell, you either have to play the pricing game and get it down 15, 20,000. Jeez, dog. Got a dog attacking my foot. Get over here. Everybody come here.
Back to my scenario there with the seller wanting to close within 3 days. It was very interesting because I think what you got to do as a realtor is you've got to dive in. You got to dive in and try to find out why is it 3 days? What is it? Do they need the money? And if they need the money, how much money do they really need? Well, this whole scenario turned out to be that this person wanted the only way they thought they could get the money is if this thing closed. And in turn, they needed $35,000. That's it. They have probably about $700,000 in equity. So, but didn't want to borrow it. So I was able to figure out a way in which to be able to do it. And now we can sell it the right way and be able to, get them more money because of it. Because if you want to close in 3 days, there's out of 100 people, maybe there's one person that can do that for you. Mm-hmm. And that one person's not going to want to just do it for the fun of it and help you out. They're going to want to make money on it. So there. Oh, you got a dog look at this.
This is the one that, he attacks my feet. He licks. And his name is Remy. Remy, say hi to everybody.
That dog's been around for a while.
Remy's a good dog.
Yeah.
He's just too needy. Like he would sit here the whole show if I let him.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, well, there you go.
Speaking about what's happening in the market, so as I go through some of our segments, I look for homes on the Zillow, and I'm seeing a lot of price cuts. So I want to do one right here. It's going to be, why hasn't this house sold? It seems decently priced, but they had a major price cut in May, and it's still on the market. So let me pop this bad boy up. St. Paul.
Only $1 million, huh? Jeez.
Nice.
5-bedroom, 4-bath, 5,000 square feet. All right, built in 2006. I'll tell you what could be happening with that one right away, because that's what I always look for. It's basically a new house in the middle of a bunch of old houses where you lose that character and charm. But they try to get you that look. I think that's what it is in there. But maybe that outside doesn't quite fit in. And so it becomes an option. And when it becomes an option to, like Andy, what area is this in? What was that address? Let me see.
Rome Avenue.
So that's
if you click it,
that's
it'll show where it is.
Yeah, that's Highland area, isn't it?
We'll find out.
Yeah, I think so. Rome, yeah. And so in that area, it's a very let's see.
Yep. That's a great area.
Yeah, it is. But it's an old, charming area.
But here's what's interesting, Chris. Like, you're right. I just did 2 markets over there. There are that part of St. Paul is some of the most recently developed of the St. Paul proper, right? So it was farmland, and then all of a sudden they developed it, and some of the second and the third phases or the last phases of Highland were bigger lots. And then they built bigger luxury homes. They wanted to kind of make it like the extension of Summit Avenue, if you will. And kind of that's the golf courses and but anyway, that area does have like one that we just priced. A house across the street sold for $900,000, and we're pricing at $359,900 right across the street. So it is, you're right. It's all over the board. And of course the couple that owns the $359,900 is like, well, they sold for $800,000, so we should probably get at least $500,000. And I'm like, no, because people that buy your house, they get jealous looking at it across the street, but they're part of the other neighborhood that sells for $359,900. And so, us, I get it. You're close by it, just being it's not osmosis where it just sucks you in, but it is, you might get $5,000 more, but not $30,000 or $100,000 more.
Yeah. Nick, a lot of times what happens with these two is that sellers, let's just try it. Let's give it a shot. And the realtor's like, you know what? It's too much. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, it's really nice. But again, I bet you. So is this the start of these are the start of the pictures? Okay. I'm going to predict that the front of the photo here, when's that going to show up, Andy? Because I think that's going to be the problem in those areas, because you want that. I mean, look at the charm.
Yeah, you can see the smaller houses out the windows.
Yeah. And so it might be around a different area, but I mean, it's just, I think it's going to be the look of the home.
Well, and the sad reality is they may have $1 million, $1.2 million into the house. The part that is where, when real estate, we tell people this all the time, is on the front end when you're making the buying decision. That's actually a very charming house. When you're buying that house and you're making that buying decision, by the amount that you invest, you're deciding how long you have to stay there to get your money back. And sometimes you could live there your whole lifetime and not get your money back if you invest in the wrong area or you overinvest in value, right? So, you have to be a little bit protective. I have, kind of my old rule of thumb is you want to stay within 15% of all the other house values in that area, plus or minus. If you're on the minus side, like let's say somebody else goes in there and builds a house for $850 and everything's selling for $1 million, they're going to make a killing. And they're always liquid. They're always ready to move. They always, they're going to be light on their feet, ready to move in any direction you need to, because they're at the right side of the scale. At $1 million, the problem is $999 reads a lot better than $1 million. And so it's a psychological, just for $19.95 instead of $20, right? And there's something to be said for that. And I don't care if they're multimillionaires or not, it's over $1 million. Now, they might be saying, well, we only want buyers that think that it's $1 million plus house because that's who we want. Well, guess what? You don't dictate what people think. You're guessing what people think, and you're assuming what people think. You have to look at the facts. Look at the track record for that area. look at how many houses have sold in that area for over $1 million. Look at how many houses, what the saturation rate is in that price range. And you might say, oh my God, it takes 3 years to sell a house that's over $1 million in my neighborhood. You may choose not to sell it for $1 million, but if I list it at 900, it'll sell in 60 days or less. Right? Yeah. Make a business decision.
Yeah, I think there's some marketing thoughts into that 999 or 1 million, and you can argue both sides. You really can, but some people want, hey, I bought $1 million home, even though I might get a better deal. It was $1 million home, and versus 999 or 995, whatever. But these guys started at $1.1 million. I don't know how long it's on the market, but I look at a few things. It could have been pricing. That front picture of the house, which ended up being, I don't know what number photo it was, but it does sit up high on a hill. How many days is that? 74 days. Okay. So they reacted to be able to kind of get it down, committing to selling, and, dropping $100,000 right away. I think there was some talk about what Andy was just discussing, that, maybe we should start at 999. And they're just like, no, this is worth more, and the market's great and everything's perfect. And, people are going to be able to look past, even though Andy said that was a charming looking house. It doesn't look like all the other ones that were built in, the 1940s. They don't have the Tudor look.
It looks like it might be on a busy corner too. I didn't get the map moved kind of quick, but it goes right along the high school there, the golf course I saw. Right across the street from the golf course. Yeah, that's on the main drag, almost Snelling. One house in. So you have a lot of road noise there too. So, it's still a beautiful area, beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah. Sure, I think it might have been just trying to push it at the beginning. And that's the thing. You got to remember your best people are the ones that are looking at the beginning. And if you're outlawing them right away, it's not a smart thing to do, because now you're waiting for new people to come onto the market, or people that were, I would have went and looked at it, but I didn't think that the price would go low enough. Those are the people that are now looking at it, trying to look for a deal.
So, well, think about this. When you create event pricing, this is something that I talk to people about. You have a unique property. Maybe you have to do event pricing where we list it at $899 with never the intention of ever getting $899, but you list it at $899 to find where the market really is at. So if you list it at $899, now instead of one showing in 60 days, you have, let's say, 6 showings in 1 week. And those people are the market. So when you say, I want to put my house on the market and sell it to somebody that's in the market, they're in the market, okay? Like Chris just said, they're your most valuable, most active, most ready to pounce on a house in the area. So if you go through all those people and you don't have any action on it, you're overpriced. You're even overpriced at $899. On the other hand, if you go $899 and let's say you got 6 people bidding on it, and also you get $1.5 million or $1.05 million or something, because they all want to beat each other out and get the house, I'm telling you, display value on the front end of your listings. I don't care how you want to do that. I don't care if it's a free golf membership to the country club across the street or whatever it is. Display value on the front, because that's when, like Chris said, and I agree 1,000,000%, your best buyers are the first ones, usually.
Typically.
All right, beautiful. Let's get into some social media reacts. Be brought to you by Mr. Andy Prasky.
Well, they said I could have 30 seconds on the show for a quick ad. Andy Prasky, Remax Advantage Plus, Andy@Prasky.com if you want to email us. Here's the thing, 22 years in the business, over 1,400 sales. I'd like to help you with your real estate needs. If that's buying, if that's selling, if that's building, whatever it is, give us a call, send us an email. Let's get you started on your real estate journey. I'd like to help you on the way. Lots of experience here, and I would like to put it to work for you. Andy Prasky, Remax Advantage Plus. Thanks for listening to the show.
It's funny. You do business obviously with lots of different people, and every once in a while you get to see them and run into them. And I think it's really interesting about an agent that, they're going to go find that white BMW. It might be 7 years old, that might have 200,000 miles on it, but they're going to have that white BMW kind of early on in their career. So
I don't know. Some people are really motivated by things that they desire, right? So, if that's something that's a goal, now this is where I'll support it. If somebody said, hey, it's my goal to get this item, and once I hit this level of financial stability, I'm going to actually go out and buy that item to reward myself for all my hard work and to keep me working hard to keep it. I totally understand that. On the other hand, if you're doing it for vain reasons, nobody cares if you drive a BMW. You're looking at a guy that I've done just fine in the real estate business, and I drive pickup trucks. So,
Hold on a minute. If you think those pickup trucks are just like the old pickup truck, they're not. Those things are fancier than most cars. So, and then you got your big truck and your big wheels, and you come rolling in there with your big mufflers. Yeah. I mean, come on.
What's funny, though? I've told this before to the dealerships when I buy the trucks. I go, give me the truck that the rich guy comes in and says, if my wife let me buy a truck, that's the one I'd buy. And I always get that one. And then so when you go on these listing presentations, I'm telling you, it's a conversation point. These guys have all the fancy cars in the garage, all the, the German cars and whatever. And now they want to talk about my truck. Oh, I've always wanted a truck. And it's like, yeah.
Are you ready for it?
That was pretty good technique too on the old grenade, pulling the pin with the thumb. And
yeah, I didn't see the. Can you play the front of that again, just real quick? I just gotta.
Are you ready for it?
That was a landscaper doing that.
Yeah,
I think that was Mr. Prasky.
The green grenade, man. We come in and we blow up the green.
That's a pretty cool one right there.
I'm gonna register that. That might be a good name for a company.
Yeah, there you go.
What's up? What's up, titties?
Those are my kind of people.
200,000, baby.
Yeah,
it's hard to get that. I'm going to be listing one. We got two listings coming up, one at $299 and another one at $350. I mean, in Prior Lake, that's going to be like crazy nuts going after those.
I got a buddy of mine that is looking for a place over in Frederick, Wisconsin, and I'm like, he's looking for the 3 to 5 bedroom house and whatever else. He sends me a listing yesterday, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage on 3 acres. What do you think that house is listed for, Chris? In decent shape.
$235.
$155.
Oh yeah. Where is it? Frederick?
Frederick. I'm not really sure. It's
okay.
It's that way. Or not, I don't know which way it is, but it's I couldn't believe it. It was a lot of value. I mean, it was a very nice house. I mean, if you were retiring or downsizing, what a great way to do it, man. Wow. You go down there, pull all your equity out of your house, pay cash for another place, buy with some of the equity, buy yourself a nice boat and a truck. Buy
the whole neighborhood. Yeah. Rent to your favorite friends.
Yeah. Rooneyville.
Yes, back to Rooneyville. I got to see if that city sold.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know too, because that seemed like a pretty good deal for $5 million.
I know. I can never re-find it ever. That
was
Go ahead, Nick.
I got a little battle for you guys. We're gonna do that this or that, but Chris, you're gonna have Farmington, and Andy's gonna have Fridley. So you're gonna kind of battle over these two cities. So at first, talk about
get ready, Rooney,
and then kind of go back and forth at what would be better.
He picks interesting towns.
Yeah, what you got, Fridley?
Just as a disclaimer, to the listener, to the watcher, whatever here, we have no clue what this guy's doing to us. Yeah, people go, why did you pick that city? And I think he lives in Brazil, where he goes,
yeah, Yeah.
This city against
SEO.
that
SEO.
city.
I'm getting all the cities in Minnesota. So your names are over every city.
I did have that at a closing. I had somebody say, well, why would you pick those two cities to battle? And I go, I didn't. And they go, so you're, yeah.
I think here's the thing, too. I don't think there's any buyer out there that's going to determine if they're going to go to Farmington or to Fridley. It's going to be, maybe Farmington versus Lakeville. And I'll tell you what, I will start on Farmington because I have a new listing coming on tomorrow in Farmington. Beautiful, amazing. Okay. Walkout 2-story, great room, a pool. Beautiful. It actually opens to open ground, but for $599. And you move that over and kind of scooter over to Old Farmington or into Prior Lake, and it's probably $675 to $750. So there's a little more value out there. Andy, I know your builder has built a lot of houses in Farmington. So there's a lot of land that was available just a little further out. But the other thing is that Farmington was always kind of like you'd kind of kick them a little if you were in sports. And now all of a sudden they've flipped. I mean, it's a great sports town too for their high school. They're winning in a lot of things now. Super cool high school. They're the ones that have there's a whole look over the whole football field from the high school. Really a neat place. Nice. And I've talked to a lot of people that have gone there, and they just, really like, it's kind of still has that little small town feel. If you go to downtown Farmington, there's still some fun places. There's this one steak place where you get in line and you pick all your food out and they start grilling a steak for you. And it's all like
steakhouse.
Yeah, cafeteria seating. I can't remember what it's called, but you get a big slab of meat for.
I think it's called the Farmington Steakhouse, right on Main Drag.
Yeah,
right on
that's it. Yes, yeah, the Farmington Steakhouse.
The Bourbon Butcher there. Not to help you out, but that's a fantastic restaurant too.
Yeah, that's the whole bourbon thing is kind of the Whiskey Infernos and all of that chain. So yeah, they have some nice. They've kind of implemented some of that stuff that started to come in, but the old downtown is. Kind of a neat little place, tons of parks, lots of trails, and just maybe it's a tad pushed out just a little further, more farmland kind of geography versus unless you get kind of down by the river, then obviously it's trees and hills, but it's a good spot. You can get a lot of house for your money out in Farmington as well.
My turn to hit Fridley.
Go for
Friendly Fridley is actually the name. And when I was a kid growing up, I was on the other side of the river. So we were over in the Brooklyn Park, kind of Brooklyn Center. So you go across the river, right on that 694, whatever it is. Made a couple notes. There's it nestles along the river, okay, and it's been there. And most of the building in Fridley, what was kind of cool is that it was built between like the 50s and the 70s, kind of in that window. There's not a lot of new construction. There's redevelopment happening where, there's some of these areas where they'll buy, 10 houses and they'll build a nice, like on the light rail that goes through there. They'll build like a nice condo or whatever else along the tracks. There's a couple, anybody that's driven by, you have the Teppanyaki buffet, which is the largest buffet in Minnesota. Didn't know if you knew that, Chris. There's also, when you're in there, let's say you have a really good time at the buffet and you need bigger pants. Go right next door to Duluth Trading Company, which is where I always have deals at the Fridley store. I don't know why. They always have like buy one, get one half off. Good deal. Yeah. And then more importantly, when you want the best lunch in the Twin Cities, you stop at Zantigo. There's not many of them left. There's a Zantigo in Fridley right across from. You can look right out the Duluth Trading window and it's right there. And you go in there and you get a couple of their hot Cholitos. You get a couple of their tacos and you just go crazy in your car and you'll be crying when you're done. But
who loves Zantigo? Ryan Yardley. He's a Zantigo man. Yeah.
So does our buddy Mark Stolpus. He loves
us too.
Yeah. We used to go there once in a while when we were between volleyball or whatever. But the other thing is like with that area, it's kind of nestled, between. It's like the north Coon Rapids comes down, then it's Fridley, then you have northeast Minneapolis. So it's kind of cool as if you live in Fridley, you live in an older house, a little more affordable. easy access to all the freeway systems, or if you want to be down on the river, there's fishing, all the parks that are there. But you can head, towards the cities, right? And then you get in the Northeast, and it doesn't take you long, and you're right into that fun, like, bar zone and kind of that, I don't know, whatever you're into, easy downtown access right up central.
Yeah. There's a Fridley High School right there.
Yeah. Well, and like on our team, so there's a neighborhood in there where Totino Grace lives, and on my team, 2 of my teammates are actually closing on a house tomorrow in Fridley, so that they're in that walking distance to Totino Grace, and and that's a very popular kind of over off of Central on the north side. Where that Northwest Swim and Fitness is over there. It's kind of up in that corner up there. Really nice neighborhood. Right on the edge of like Silver Lake Road. You start getting into New Brighton, into that area over there, and it's really nice. And so that side of Fridley is a little fancier, a little pricier, but you're in an area that supports it. So it's I don't know. I really Fridley kicks Farmington's BUTT.
Yeah, I think it's what kind of lifestyle you're looking for as well, though.
Yeah.
Because it's a completely different lifestyle from Farmington to Fridley for sure.
Yeah. Well, if you want new construction, there's not much available in Fridley. So if you want something shiny, brand new, we're going to take you to Farmington over Fridley. But, if you want to be close to the city and not pay city prices, it was funny though, when we were kids, now it's changed since then a little bit, but when we were kids, we're at Sunday school, and the priest comes in, he's got a big black eye, and we're like, "Oh, what happened, Father?" And he goes, "I was over at a restaurant a little too late last night over in Fridley, and I got mugged."
Oh, really?
I go, I thought that only happened in New York City. And, it was like great. And he got a big got smacked, and they took his wallet, and God. But that's big city living. You got to always have one eye open when you're walking around at night. It's a lot different during the day. That was 30 years ago, of course, but.
Yeah. It's gotten so much better since.
I don't know.
In some ways, I'm not one bit afraid to go downtown. I'm just not. I don't think I'd want to hang out after midnight, down there.
I wouldn't want to hang out after probably 7:30.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go to Manny's, Capitol Grill, get the 5 o'clock reservation, get out of there. You'd be good. Even though that wasn't in our battle today, but just thought I'd throw that in there.
I don't know. We were battling. We got a battle. Maybe this guy tells us who we should battle.
Andy definitely won for sure. He had the lowdown, and he put you in your place.
This is Antigo or what?
Antigo?
Yeah. Remember this. I'll give you some advice, kids. I always ask the fat guy where to go to lunch because he'll set you straight.
Fat guy. Hi guys, the Vikings owner selling his place. Does that mean he's selling the team? What's going on here? Have you guys heard about his mansion?
Nope.
Which one? He's probably got multiple houses. Where's this one located?
Oh, that's in New Jersey.
It's in Jersey. He's selling in Jersey, maybe.
He's probably bought that place we advertised last week, the one up in Detroit Lakes, for $11 million. He's probably buying that one.
What was his story again? Where do you make his money?
Apartments.
He's real estate.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like a nice place.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a summer type home. I mean,
that's gonna be hard for a guy like that when you're giving out like $10 million sign-in bonuses and you've got these $100 million contracts, and all of a sudden you're selling your house for $3.2 million. I'm assuming that he's replacing with a $50 million house somewhere.
I guarantee he's got multiple homes. I think this is just one of them that it's kind of clickbait because Zygi Wilf is a billionaire. I mean, he's a billionaire now. And so I think he's just
team's worth over $1 billion. There was a time when they were buying the Vikings back in the day, and I had a friend of mine, parents had, no kidding, a 14,900 square foot house in North Oaks on one of the original James J. Hill sites with 17-car garage, indoor pool, unbelievable home, right? And that guy looked at it and almost bought it. And they weren't giving that one away. I don't remember what it was priced at, but that was back when he was when they were just starting to look at the Vikings. There was all these confidentiality agreements that had to be signed, and Nobody could be on site. There was no cameras allowed when he came to see the property. And so he was looking locally too. I don't know what he ended up buying here, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what he owns.
that was the only like brush of fame I had with him.
A lot of those people own multiple places, and I'm guessing that was just
Well,
kind of a summer
and there's
cabin.
no tax benefit to put it in their own name. So that's why you'll never see it like when you go for a search on somebody's name, it doesn't have their name. It'll say like Z Investments or something or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of those people have other people purchase it for them as well. So they're a signer, so they don't have to deal with anything.
All right.
We were pre-approved by a lender. Once we got into contract, we started rate shopping. Oh, that's wonderful. We found an incredible rate from another lender and took that to our original lender to see if he could match it. Since it would be easier to deal with someone who already has our documents versus starting from scratch. And boy, was he upset. What am I missing? Is this isn't this a normal part of the house buying procedure? Your agent hopefully should be talking to you, discussing. You can obviously rate shop and do whatever. You probably want to try to do that before you start claiming that this agent's the one that got me pre-approved, has all my documents, and now go back to the seller and flip to another lender. I tell you, it's happening way too much now. I wish I could have something that would say, if you do it, you owe us $5,000, because you're putting a lot of people in a lot of bad positions. And we had one just lately that this buyer flipped lenders 1 week before closing. And that person didn't tell him the whole thing. The lender that was with him at the beginning told him the right story. And that lender, thank goodness, that original lender did not stop the loan or whatever. So this buyer came back, and we ended up 1 day later, ended up closing. After we sat on it for 90 days waiting to close, everything was fine. And then this person tried to flip and switch. And so you gotta kind of think about other people as well and do your due diligence up front. Hopefully you've got a client or an agent that has a good relationship with their lender, that you're getting the best rates that you possibly can. But there's a lot of fighting out there right now for mortgages, and people are jumping and grabbing at anything they can just to get a loan done. So it's kind of some reality, but it's also puts a lot of people in a lot of bad positions.
I agree. And I think, Chris, it's natural to want to shop rates because you want to, we talk about how you've negotiated the price. Now you want to see the rate. And I think there's a lot of fallacy there with rate, shopping, because when you look at the end of the day, first of all, if somebody hasn't reviewed all of your documents, verified your income, or whatever else, they don't have a better rate for you yet. They're doing a teaser rate. It's kind of like clickbait, right? Oh yeah, I got rates for as low as 4%. If you put 90% down and, pay it off in a year. I mean, there's all kinds of crap that's out there. So when you have a good lender that's saying, hey, listen, we've got all your documents in, we've verified everything, we can fund this loan for you. And here's the payment. What I always tell everybody to do is shop the payment, not the percentage, right? The rate. Because what's funny is that you can have completely different, you can have a higher rate over here and a lower payment. And this guy can have the lower rate, a rate over here, but a higher payment. So it's like you want to shop the payment, because that's ultimately at the end of the day what you live with the rest of the 30 years you own the property. Who cares what your rate is if you can afford your payment? So when you look at that, there are options that are out there that some lenders can provide that others cannot. I'm starting to see some, I don't want to say the word games, but there's games being played now with, hey, if they're putting 20% down or more, we don't have to put the property taxes into the payment, and they can pay their own insurance on their own. They're not escrowing for those items anymore. So all of a sudden now it looks like a pretty darn attractive payment, but it doesn't have the other $300, $400, or $500 a month worth of stuff in it. So be very careful when you're shopping. And that's what a good real estate agent will also help you with, is that when they refer you to that person, they're not referring you because they're going to be more expensive or embarrass them for referring them. It's because they have a track record of being a good, solid lender. They have good rates, and they're very fair to the people, and they take care of you. So there's something to be said for that as well. And I'm not saying that costs you more money at all. I think that what it is just they work harder because they have a relationship with that, agent, and they want to make sure that when their people say they're ready to go, they're ready to go. So anyway, that's my 10 cents worth on it.
what also becomes, there's a possibility there's a long-term plan in place as well, and set up. And sometimes when you just call a lender and say, hey, what are you doing for a 30-year fixed at $400,000 loan amount? There's what's your credit score? What are you trying to accomplish? I mean, are you putting 10% down and you want to try to get out of mortgage insurance? Well, maybe that other lender has that plan in place that, you know what, let's just go 5%. We'll give you that other 5% so you can take that and upgrade what you're doing there to be able to get the appraisal up so we can get rid of that mortgage insurance and refinance you. And we're going to give you a higher rate, or we're going to try to do a buy down. I mean, there's a lot of games to be played that don't work in every person's situation.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think that there's like this fallacy that, there's some kind of you use my lender and I make some money. They don't. It's, oh my God, we'd lose our license so fast. It's actually what I recommend everybody do. Look at the RESPA rules of engagement with lenders and with real estate agents and practices and procedures, and read through the whole thing. Understand the law, understand how they cannot commingle, how you cannot, and the only reason why, like for an example, and this has bit me in the butt a couple of times, I refer Billy that's a painter, and you say, oh, I'll call Billy. Billy will take care of me. And then Billy doesn't call them back because he doesn't recognize the name. Then I look like a jerk. But Billy calls me back in 30 seconds every time I call him. But the thing is that when you're asking for those referrals, okay, it's very difficult today to want to refer people. So when I, as an agent, actually refer somebody to you, they're solid. And I talk to these people about, I'm like, listen, if I am going to hand your name out and somebody references my name, I go, I need you to jump over backwards for me to make me look good because I'm referring you. And if you can't do that, I totally understand. And good luck to you. And I'll just, let my people go out and navigate their way through the ocean themselves. Hopefully they don't get eaten by a shark, because there's lots of sharks in the lending business, in my opinion. And they tease you and say, oh, come over here, look at this. And wham, they hit you. And so it's like,
what's great with you, Andy, is maybe not great with your client either. And that's the tough part. So it might be the perfect person and how they work for you, and maybe you're real anal and you want phone calls and you want them to follow up and you do that. Then all of a sudden you refer them to me, and this person is pestering the hell out of me with follow up and cold calls. And it's just like, I don't want that. And that's the tough part. So he might be the perfect person that you think. And that's why it's so hard for us to, to put people out there, because everyone that we put our name behind, I mean, that's our name. And it could make you look good. It could make you look bad. And I always tell people, because you hit it on the nose. Someone like, hey, gosh, I should get you something for this. I said, all I want is you to take care of that client. Right. That's what you got to do. That's worth more money to me than anything, because that client's going to be thinking of me when it comes time to refer someone else to a real estate deal. And that's what I want. I don't want to make money on, gutters or siding or a security system, for God's sakes, that I get calls after every closing on. I can make $50 if I talk my client into using their security system. I said, I don't want it. Go and talk to them and give them their $50. Give them a little better deal. So
yeah, no, you're right. Or the other one was roofing guys, and these roofing guys come up to me and go, hey, every referral, because you're influential, any referrals you give me, I'll send you guys a check for $250. It's legit, it's legal, we're allowed to do this. And I go, how about you just call them back and take care of them for $250? A compromise a relationship with a client of mine isn't worth it.
Right.
Because you don't just screw up your relationship with them directly. It's all the referrals. Because when people are happy with Chris and I, they refer us. And that happens a lot, over the years. You get these, then they buy, then their kids buy, and then their friends of their kids buy. And it's like, there's a long relationship that we're building. And it's not a short-term kill of $250 doesn't mean anything to me.
Because you're going to make $350 on the sale.
Yes.
Yes.
Chris, how many Cholitos that'll buy at Zantigos?
I can imagine.
Probably a lot. I don't remember what the pricing is because I get so hungry when I get there. I just start ordering.
It's probably changed. I stopped at McDonald's. I hadn't been there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that 2 cheeseburger and French fried, I think it's number 3 or number 2. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
My God, it's like $11 or something.
I tell you, I remember when McDonald's used to go there, it was like $2.99 for lunch, and then it was up to $4.99. It's like, oh my God, I can't afford to go out to lunch at $5. I'll have to start making sandwiches. I can't get out of McDonald's for under $17 anymore. It's like
I remember, now this is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I remember going to McDonald's and I'd have 5 cheeseburgers and a fry and a drink, and it would be like under $5.
That's awesome.
That was my lunch when I was a kid.
Did you get the 2 for $1 apple pies then at the end to wash them down?
Oh, of course we did.
Yeah.
Those are awesome pies, by the way.
I think everybody's shocked we're still alive. We have cheese running through our veins.
Our Minnesota Luxury Real Estate Spotlight brought to you by Chris Rooney Home Experts.
I was just 1 year old when my family started in real estate, where both my parents were agents. They also dabbled in investing in real estate, rentals, flips, and construction. After college, I went right into getting my license in July of 1990. As a 23-year-old agent in an industry that looks nothing like today, I had to know more for my clients to choose me. There wasn't Zillow or social media to tell them how good I was. I had to win them over with knowledge. With knowledge comes confidence, and with confidence comes results.
Hey, here's another one too with a little price cut. Nice.
That's a nice looking house, though.
Yeah, it is. That must sit on a very landscape lot there. So, what was it? A $2,750,000, and now it's down to $2.5 million. Okay, we're close to the water. Do that map again. That's Andrew Prasky.
I don't think it's a Wyzetta there.
Yeah, it is.
It's outside of downtown. So you could walk to 6 Smith.
Yeah. Now go in now, Nick. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're in the corners. Must be a remodel. What is
turn on the satellite? You can see it better, probably.
Let's see the.
There you go. See all those condos?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a great taco place in that strip mall there.
I literally lived about a mile from there for a while. So.
Yeah, Lisa and I like to go down there on Lake Street. There's a great Mexican restaurant on right across from those big condos they built there. And then there's Cove and 6 Smith, and there's a lot of fun spots.
Is that the Baja House?
I think so. Yeah, good memory.
Yeah, they get some good sushi down there as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me see. What do we? So we're not very big. We got a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,400 square feet. I mean, you're definitely paying for that location, as Andy just said. It's a great area. They've really opened it up now. I hear some noises.
That's my apparently my customers are waking up and they're starting to call.
Okay.
I will mute myself.
Obviously this was a fill-in project built in 2016. So you're kind of getting down there. I mean, this might take the place of one of those condos that Mr. Prasky was just talking about. Kind of getting a feel for, maybe give me a feel for the lot a little here, Nick. It gets you downtown, it gets you that whole kind of rustic feel, but yet how much work is there to do? It gives you, let's see. I mean, it looks like it's kind of like fully grown everywhere around. So there's not a ton of maintenance, it doesn't look like. So that might be kind of a combination of trying to use this as an association maintained type alternative. Keep going. Look at the cable with those beams. That's a different kind of look. Not sure I've ever seen that before. You see that, Andy? See the cable? How it attaches those beams rather than runs through? I think we lost Andy. So, all right. Well,
it's like they retroed an old warehouse or something.
Yeah. Okay. So you must have just been on mute or something.
I was, yeah, because of my phones.
Keep going, just so everyone knows. We've never seen this, so we kind of gotta get a feel for it first, and then we can maybe talk a little smart. I love when they incorporate stone like that and different feels, woods and metals, and I think this is kind of neat, but not too much of it, just enough to kind of make it feel good. But that's a smart builder too. I mean, to incorporate little pieces like that and make them feel like they're actually there the whole time is not an easy thing in which to be able to do, because
Look at those cabinet fronts too.
That wall back.
Look at those cabinet fronts. Those are crazy cool. They have like that pickled wood inserts like that into a frame.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of detail there. That's a $15,000, $20,000 bookcase.
Yeah, you can get crazy on some cabinetry, that's for sure.
I like it though.
Yeah.
I even like the way the window trim was like all lined up with the doors and everything. That to me is nice. A lot of builders don't do that. They'll just, the windows are off by an inch and they sit on that, forces everything to be level and look great.
You mean incorporate the door within the window trim?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's a nice house. I tell you, I give them that.
Yeah. I mean, a 2.5 down there. I mean, I think it was only 3,300 square feet. So it's not huge, but that outdoor space was super nice. And it looks like this is part of it as well. A porch. Yeah, with a full screen front. You can open that baby up. That's a nice. Okay, get your lower level. Looks like
It's like a new house.
Yeah, this is where you'll see it a lot. If you look out those windows, I mean, they're still trying to get light, but they're landscaping it to try to get that so they can maintain that levelness off of that main floor to be able to. That's really because that's where you live. I mean, if you really think about it, not a lot of people go in the basement. I mean, the house I'm in right now, I mean, I rarely walk into that basement. Everything's on that main floor because I'm able to walk right out to the water from there. So
wine cellar, nice,
but it turns into an entertainment type space.
Yeah, got all your bourbons and your wines, and
that's the other thing. You go back a little on that little wine bar where it had the little oak mantle. Yeah, I mean, look at that thing. I mean, that's just to stage that thing. I mean, look at all the liquor that goes in there, Andy. Holy moly!
That house I was mentioning earlier. They used to have a liquor store locally here that would keep their wine cellar stocked. So once a week, the liquor store goes into their house, looks at what they have, and then they'd restock all the shelves for them. So these people didn't have to go to the liquor store. And, pretty cool. But I mean, when you're drinking a $200 bottle of wine every night or a couple a night, sure they'll do that for you.
I wonder if you had a parade home that was really nice, if a liquor store would come in and stage it for you. And then all of a sudden they get a little publicity out of it. It'd be kind of cool.
Well, I got my hand slapped a little bit with that, with doing the wine and cheese events. Apparently the firearm, tobacco, whatever, alcohol group came in and said, you guys are distributing alcohol. We're like, we're pouring glasses of wine. But yes, I mean, we're not charging for it. And there's no whatever. And they didn't like it. They wanted us to have like a permit. And so if you look at the Parade of Homes now, we call it our donuts and cider parties, and come early in the morning and get donuts and cider or coffee instead of the wine and cheese. So thank you, big government. You're great.
Interesting.
That was sarcastic if you didn't notice.
Look at that little painting, little castle, that little fake door. They do use that a lot underneath the stairs.
Well, you did that yourself, did you?
So look at that. It's a cute little thing.
That's a good little kid's fort.
Yeah.
That's cute. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but I think this is where you really kind of is a game changer. You expand the outdoor living area, and obviously in Minnesota you don't get it as long, but I mean that's a neat little place. I just wonder how those bugs are with all those trees around.
Well, let's say Iowa guy, Hawkeye. You go down to the marina and you keep your boat at the marina down the street, and you walk back from the marina and you have outdoor cocktails and hang out with your friends, and it wouldn't be bad. I got to be honest with you though, I'm not just like last week when we were looking at that one for what was it, $4 or $5 million, where it was the apartment building looking one. By the way, ran into an agent that said that they knew the listing agent, and the listing agent heard about our show talking about it and watched it and wasn't real pleased with us.
Really? I don't think we weren't too I think we're.
I said it
pretty
looked
good
like an
about that
apartment
one.
building. I was probably the sassy one.
Oh.
You were the nice one.
Nice.
Oh, but hey, what am I going to lie to you? I mean, come on, you need some curb appeal. Like this house does not need curb appeal. The only thing I question on this house, it's stunning. It's well decorated, obviously an interior, exterior. You know, you had landscape architects, you've had, everybody well consulting in here. The only thing that I challenge is, $2.5 million for 3,000 finished square feet. That's a lot of money. Wouldn't shock me if you told me that house was 1.1 million. I'd also go, oh, you know what I mean? So it's like for me, I don't know. YZ is, kind of commanding a lot for just the lots. So is the lot worth $500,000? Is it worth $1 million? And then you put it all together. But it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. See, this is the right thing to do here too. Is
Right.
They start showing this is the lifestyle that you're going to get in downtown Wayzata, and
Yep.
I mean it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from it.
You're
And
so-
it's the other part is, I mean, really, let's just say that you buy
Right,
one of
the
those
yacht club, there you
condos.
go.
Yeah, say you buy one of those condos, and your association fee is $800 to $1,100 a month. I mean, you can certainly have your yard taken care of with that. So I think that's a good. You're not. I mean, I've showed those condos over there for
Nice.
$2.5 million. That's a nice option to be able to kind of go against that. So, but I think it is, Andy, too. I think it's you're paying for where you are and in that location. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of money that's down there, and some just want something to, hey, when we're going to go down there and we're going to hang out over the weekend, just like they do with condos downtown, we need a place to be able to stay. It's easier just to walk, and we'll just hang out there and have a good time with our friends and go to sleep and then pack up on the weekend and leave. So I don't know. I thought that one, I really like that house actually a lot. It's just not that big, like you said, but I think that whole outside living kind of would make it feel so much bigger.
Well, you're walking distance. So now if you say to me, Andy, hey, let's I just want to be within a couple minutes of that location and we could drive by car or scooter or walk, you could save yourself about $1 million.
Yeah.
Just go right across 394, go up on the north side, that kind of Minnetonka area up there. Granted, it's not downtown Wayzata, but you could get a lot of house for the money up there.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, building that house, what they had there with that landscaping, I don't think you could put that on a lot around there and be under that dollar amount.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like.
I just got to start making more money. That's my problem. I try to pull numbers down, and you quantify them and say, yeah, that's worth that. I've always done that though. I always pull them down because in my head I'm going, okay, that beam cost $3,800, installing it $6,000, so that's only a $10,000 ad. And that's how my brain works, right? So like I always think of how can I do it myself? Because I come from kind of that, Brooklyn Park growing up around people that valued money. I mean, because they didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
A little bit that they had, they valued, right? So it's like,
Yeah, that's a good point. You have to understand who the client is and who's going to be purchasing it to be able to kind of get the most for it. So I agree.
Yeah,
That's
if you're a surgeon and you don't care and you want to have a cool house and a walking distance to a fun place and you want to keep your boat at the yacht club or whatever, easy. I mean, that's
got to justify it for them. Yep.
Okay.
One part that sucks is that you only get that outdoor space basically for 5 months of the year, maybe, where it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But the people that are probably going to own that aren't going to be here in the winter anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense. All right, guys, that's an episode. Click our link tree here. All our websites, all our links, the content is right there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us likes on the Facebook and send in any questions you have. And, of course, if you're going to buy or sell, let us know. All right, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Real Estate Radio Hour. Don't forget to visit our website, realestateradiohour.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or your preferred podcast listening app. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or sharing us with a friend. Until next time, stay awesome, Twin Cities.